Once upon a time, in a village surrounded by dense forests and strong rivers, lived a young man. This young man worked in the village market, sharing the bounties of Mother Earth with the people. He led a simple life, focused on his work until one day his heart was struck by an unexpected event. In the heart of the village stood a small bakery, filled with sweet scents and visited by everyone seeking a bit of joy. The woman who worked in this bakery was known for her beauty and grace, capturing the attention of everyone in the village. Yet she spoke to no one, quietly minding her work. One day the young man saw her, and in that moment, a spark ignited in his heart. As her hair danced with the wind, her eyes gleamed like the brightest stars in the village sky. The young man came to work every morning, but his thoughts constantly wandered to the woman. Ever since the first time he saw her, it felt like a storm had brewed within him. Her eyes held such a deep light, and he couldn't understand how far that light would pull him. His heart now beat only for her, and each day he longed for the chance to see her again. One day, an elder in the village noticed the young man's state. "The winds are calling you, young man," the elder said. "But remember, the winds only guide those with pure hearts. If you truly love her, you must listen to your heart. But be brave, this journey will not be easy." The young man, shaken by the elder's words, began to feel even more turmoil inside. Could he truly be brave? Was he ready to open his heart? More than anything, when he saw the woman, he wanted to tell her how he felt. But what if she rejected him? What if these powerful winds never brought them together again? At the same time, the young woman was working quietly at the bakery, but her thoughts were on the young man who often came into the shop. Every time he entered, she noticed the wind blew a little harder, and her heart beat a little faster. Yet she too struggled to gather the courage to speak. Are the winds sending a sign? She wondered. Or is this just a coincidence? While these feelings grew within her, she stayed silent, though deep in her heart, she longed to speak to him. That day the young man's heart raced, unsure of what to do. But the ancient spirits whispered to him, "This is the journey of your heart. Be brave." Every time he saw her at the shop, he was captivated by her beauty, but he could never muster the courage to approach her. One evening, as the sun was setting and Africa's ancient winds began to blow across the village, the young man gathered his courage. That night he decided he would reveal his feelings to her. The ancient winds filled his heart with bravery. As the woman left the bakery, the young man ran after her and stopped her. "The winds have brought us together," he said. "I'd like to have coffee with you and talk, because since the first moment I saw you, my heart has beaten only for you." The woman smiled softly as the wind blew through her hair once more. "I've noticed you too," she said, "and I feel the same winds within me. I'd like to get to know you." That night, the two sat by the village's most beautiful spot, by a lake bathed in moonlight, talking for hours. The ancient spirits of Africa gently blew around them, and the love between the two began to bloom. That night, not just two people but two souls were bound together. When the elders of the village heard their story, they said, "These winds are ancient, the winds of love. They only bring together souls that truly belong to each other." From that day on, the two lovers were never apart. The ancient winds blew softly around them, reminding them of their love, and everyone in the village admired the bond between them. As the young man and woman grew closer each day, the village's ancient traditions prepared to bless their union. In the land of Africa, love and togetherness were celebrated with powerful rituals. When two hearts were destined to unite, it was not just the people, but the spirits of nature that acknowledged their bond. As the days passed, the ancient winds whispered a message to the village elders: "These two souls belong together." The elders, understanding this message, began to prepare a grand ceremony in the village. This ceremony, known as the Dance of Two Winds, was a sacred ritual that the whole village attended to celebrate the blessing of love. The day of the ceremony arrived, and excitement filled the village. The elders were to bless the two lovers, chosen and protected by the winds. Before the ritual began, the young man and woman were brought to the village's sacred fire. This fire only accepted great loves, and as the two lovers stood before it, their love caused the flames to glow even brighter, casting light to every corner of the village. The ancient ritual, the night the winds bound their hearts. To bless their union, the village elders performed an ancient ritual. This ritual, known as the place where two winds meet, was only for those whose hearts were written by the winds. At midnight, a large fire was lit in the village center, burning only for those who truly knew love. When the young couple stood before the fire, the elders drew a circle around them with sacred oils and earth. One of the elders stirred the fire with a long staff, drawing a circle in the ground. "This is the circle of love," the elder said. "Once you enter, your hearts will be united forever. The young man and woman stepped into the circle, and once again the ancient winds began to blow, gently brushing through their hair and clothing. The village musicians began to play drums, creating the rhythm of the wind. The dance of the winds had begun. The most important part of the ritual was the lovers offering their devotion to nature. They raised their joined hands to the sky. The winds brought us together. May our souls always remain with you, they prayed. The whispers of the winds accepted their plea, echoing a sweet melody throughout the village. The blessing of the spirits of Africa. At the end of the ritual, one of the village's elder women stepped forward, holding a bracelet made from the sacred tree of the village. This bracelet is a symbol of the spirits that bind your hearts, she said. She placed one bracelet on the woman's wrist and another on the young man's. From now on, whenever the winds blow, these bracelets will remind you of your love and unity. As the ceremony ended, the sky filled with brilliant stars. The ancient heavens of Africa blessed the young couple as the entire village silently watched. From that moment on, the two lovers were not only bound to each other but also to the earth, the winds and the spirits of the village. Woke from a vivid dream. In this dream, the winds whispered to him about a distant place, an ancient cave hidden deep within the forests. The cave was said to hold secrets of love, truth, and the wisdom of the ancestors. It was a place where only the purest of hearts could enter, and those who did would gain a deeper understanding of their bond. When the young man shared his dream with the woman, she too felt the winds guiding them toward this sacred place. The winds have chosen us for a greater purpose, she said softly. We must follow their call. The next morning, they set off on a journey deep into the heart of the forest, where the trees grew tall and the air was thick with the presence of ancient spirits. The wind swirled around them, guiding their path. The further they walked, the quieter the world around them became, as if nature itself was holding its breath for what was to come. The Cave of Truth. After days of traveling, they reached the entrance of the cave. The stone walls were covered in ancient symbols that glowed faintly, as though they were alive with the energy of the ancestors. The couple stood at the entrance, feeling the weight of the moment. This was no ordinary cave. It was a place where the winds had carried their love to be tested and where their connection to each other and the spirits would be revealed. Inside the cave, the air was cool and still, and the walls shimmered with the light of the glowing symbols. As they ventured deeper, they found a large stone tablet resting in the center of the chamber. The tablet was engraved with an inscription in a forgotten language, but as they touched it, the meaning became clear to them. The love that is forged here must endure the trials of truth, trust, and sacrifice. Only those who hold each other's hearts without doubt will unlock the wisdom of the ancestors. The young man and woman held hands, their hearts steady but aware of the challenge ahead. They knew that their love would be tested in ways they had never imagined, but they also knew that the winds had guided them here for a reason. The test of love. Suddenly the cave began to stir. The winds, which had been gentle, now roared through the chamber, swirling around them in a fierce storm. The symbols on the walls glowed brighter, and the ground beneath them trembled. The spirits of the ancestors were awakening, and the couple knew they were being watched. The young man and woman stood firm, side by side, their hands tightly clasped. They could feel the power of the winds testing their bond. In the midst of the storm, the voice of an ancient spirit echoed through the cave. Do you trust in each other's love? Will you stand together through the fiercest of trials? Without hesitation, the young man spoke. Our love is stronger than any storm. We will stand together always. The woman echoed his words, her voice steady and filled with conviction. The winds brought us together, and no force will tear us apart. As they spoke, the storm began to ease. The winds calmed, and the cave grew still once more. The symbols on the walls dimmed, and the air was filled with a sense of peace. The spirits had accepted their love, and the test was complete. A new beginning. In the quiet that followed, the stone tablet in front of them began to glow with a soft, golden light. The inscription had changed. Now it read, "You have proven your love and trust. The winds will forever guide your path. Go forth, and let your love be a light for all who seek the truth." The young couple, overwhelmed with gratitude, bowed their heads in reverence. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they had gained the blessing of the ancestors and the wisdom of the winds. As they left the cave and stepped back into the world, the wind whispered gently around them, a constant reminder of the love they had proven and the bond that would never be broken. Together, they returned to the village, where their story became a beacon of hope for all who sought love and truth. From that day on, the young man and woman were not just a couple, but a symbol of what true love could achieve. Whenever the winds blew, the people of the village would smile, knowing that the spirits were still watching over the two souls who had passed the test of love.